Hello, I am back again. No hair, no makeup, and I am totally fine with that. Anyway, this video is all about what list should I call? That is one question that I hear over and over and over again, especially when we do our cold calling workshops. So there's many types of lists. What am I talking about lists? Ashley, what do you mean? Okay, so lists are typically different groups of people who may be motivated to sell their homes quickly and at a discount. Some very popular lists will be like the pre-foreclosure list, probate list, divorce list. What are some other ones? Recent estates. Oh God, there's so many, y'all. Condemned houses, houses with water shutoffs, vacants, out of town owners, tired landlords. I mean, guys, seriously, I can go on and on. There's so many lists. Well, I'm going to start by saying this, and then I'll get into the list. Guys, it doesn't matter what list. The whole point is call a list, especially if you're just getting started, or even if you have a huge wholesaling business going on already and you already have cold callers going. You already know this. Doesn't matter which list. You just need to call a list. All you're looking for is a yes. I think so many people I don't think, I know a lot of you are afraid to cold call because you fear rejection. You fear sounding telemarketing. You fear offending people. Here's one thing that I heard this week that really stood out to me. Being nice does not equal being good. And what I mean by that in regard to cold calling is, yes, you may feel like you might be offending someone by calling them, and maybe that's not very nice, but that doesn't mean that you're not doing something good. Because in a lot of times you are saving people from a very difficult financial hardship, or you're giving them options that they would not otherwise have. So again, get over the whole it feels like it's not nice. Just because it feels like it's not nice does not mean that it's not good. And women, I could go on and on about how this affects you with being in dangerous situations. Your gut tells you to run, but culturally we're told to be respectful and kind even when you feel uncomfortable. Sorry, that's a whole other tangent. Anyway, just call a list. You are simply looking for motivated sellers. You're not looking for your next best friend. You're not looking for a play grandmother or a godmother for your children. You are calling to get motivated sellers. That's it. That's the lead generation portion of it. Oh, should I tell this? Shit. Okay. Y'all get me talking. I get so loquacious on these lives. If you do not feel comfortable cold calling because you personally feel rejected, which is something that I struggle with because I am a true introvert, call as someone else. Don't use your name. Don't use your title. Make a whole other persona and call from that persona if that's going to help you get on the phones and get over the mental block and feeling rejected when you're doing cold calls. Anyway, back to which list you should call. All of the lists that I named at the beginning of this video are all lists that you could definitely call. You can definitely even add some for sale by owners in there. I mean, it's limitless. Here is the trick. Here's what the rest of us are doing. Those of us who are closing deals all the time. We are stacking those lists, especially if you are a one-person show, especially if it's just you and maybe you just have a small team. You can't call 3,000 people a month. Maybe you can only call. I had a meeting with someone who said, hey, look, I can only call 45 minutes a day on my lunch. So when I call, it has to be quality leads. I can't just call a bunch of phone numbers. Stack the list. When I say stack the list, and I hope I can add a share screen to this later. It would be really cool to show you guys how I do this. Stacking the list is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to take multiple lists. So you might take the absentee owner list, the pre-foreclosure list, the vacant list. And then you're going to take all of those lists and upload them into one Excel spreadsheet or whatever spreadsheet you feel comfortable using. I'm sure there's more fancy things out there. I just use Excel. Then you're going to sort by name. You're looking for people whose name shows up 3 times in a row, because that means they have multiple motivations. They're in pre-foreclosure, their house is vacant, and they're an absentee owner. So they have many reasons to want to sell to you quickly and at a deep discount. See, if you see, you guys, I charge for this stuff, right? Like, it's $1,500 to spend a day with me. Most of my courses are about $400 each to get nuggets like that, and you just got it. All you have to do is just keep watching the video. I give as much as I possibly can in these. So stack those lists. Number 3, would be, wait, so number one was all of the lists that you can call, right? Number two was just get on the phone, do another persona. Number three was stack the list. And I think my last bit of advice, if you're going to worry about which list to call, is to just buy a list. You know, if you don't really know how to do the county record search, you don't really know how to, maybe you don't have relationships with attorneys or, you know, inspectors or things like that, just buy a list. I mean, of course, everyone's calling that same list now. I'm not going to be dishonest here. You know, if you buy that list is for sale for everybody. So there's thousands of investors calling that same list. And the funny thing is, sometimes people will get on a cold call and they'll hear someone say, people keep calling me. And then they'll stop calling the whole rest of the entire list because they're like, well, people have already called. So what? People need multiple touches, right? After they've gotten so many phone calls, they don't know the difference between your company, his company, her company, whose company, their company, but they're hearing it over and over and over. So you have some people who might say, oh, this must be a sign from God that I need to take this phone call and do this. And they might be right. That might be a sign that they're looking for to know that this is their way out. You might have other people who are hearing it over and over and over and say, okay, you know what? It's call number 5. Let me just hear you out. I mean, you never know until you call. So stop being so easily discouraged. And I know that's easier said than done. Hey, if you're a wine drinker, have a glass of wine before you get on there. Wind down a little bit. Whatever your thing is to get you mentally ready for it, just do it. But the point is, just do it. Do you think all of these gurus and durus are just making this stuff up and we're just all getting together and saying, why don't we just give everyone the same advice and just kind of trick them? It's not a trick. It's exactly what we're all doing. We're all just doing it. If you follow my journey, you know I just started this about 2 years ago. And man, boy, did I hate cold calling. Man. And so I had to do what worked best for me, but I still just had to do it. And I urge you to do the same. So which list do you call? Any list. Just call. Hope this helps. Talk to you guys soon.